This episode is brought to you by the European Coworking Assembly. We are everything Coworking Europe. If you head to the Coworking Assembly website, you can connect with our World Coworking, European Freelancers Week, Coworking Symposium, Coworking Library, and Coworking Tools.
Let me introduce you to Vika Zhurbas, a born entrepreneur and coworking community leader from Ukraine. In this conversation, she shares with you part of her personal story, learnings, wisdom, and of course, her love for coworking. You are in for a treat. Vika, how did your story begin?
I think everything began for me. There were two main things in my life. The first one was the poetry. When I was doing a lot of poetry, when I was staying on the stage and with my parents, like a stage was a chair, and telling poems, which I learned by heart. And that's how I loved speaking to the people, to the audience. I loved texts. I'm not a person of pictures or design, but I'm a person of text, poems, letters, press releases, concepts, etc. So this is, I believe this is the first one. And I remember myself being 3 years old and trying to make rhymes, trying to make poems out of what I see. So I think this gave a lot of direction. I'm a single child and my parents, they were like 35 years old already. So I was well thought single child. So they were putting everything, all they know, all they have, energy, time, money into me. And that's where all this sunshine and energy comes in, because I got a lot from them. I was a waited child and they were literally waiting for me and loving me like each day and grateful for me. And I believe I'm spreading it now around the world. If coming back to the poems, it was the first pillar. And the second one is English. And I started learning English at 5. And for sure, it gave me, first of all, a lot of time and lessons of it. So I didn't have much time to be like fooling around, fooling over. I was learning English. And the second is joining different schools, camps, like international schools. At 12, I went to UK for a couple of weeks. But in general, it also gave a lot of changes to me and insights. Visiting United Kingdom, being in Ukraine in 2000, maybe 2000 or 1999, and then all over the history of Vika there is English, like camps, people, conferences, university in Greece, university in Germany, and it I wouldn't say it helped me. It gave me an opportunity to have it. And it gives me also an opportunity to be here with you and to speak easily with my new friends and colleagues in Europe. But it all began, like they say, it all began before Vika was born. When there was a wish to have a girl and to invest in her, everything my parents had. So that's how it began.
I see that you have a special relationship with words and their effect on people.
I'm like tasting the language. I like the words, picking them up. And apart of English, I learned German and Greek. And it gave me also a possibility to like feel different languages, different words, different, if you could understand colors of languages and colors of words. Some people say that they don't, like they see colors of different words. And I really taste it and I really enjoy it.
It is fascinating to see how your passion for poetry and language builds a foundation for your experience with coworking and values like inclusion and diversity. But before we go into the topic of coworking, I see in your LinkedIn profile a tagline that captures my attention. Flexibility is the key.
I know where it came from. We were doing co-working space by New Work in Kiev, New Work Labs. and it was a huge space with a big open space. And I was, how was called, fighting for the tables with wheels, saying that we don't need tables. The girls on the reception cannot move in case we need to move it. We need to have wheels. And this for me was like a picture of flexibility, because yes, you have a co-working space, but usually, sometimes, not usually, you need an event in the evening. And what do you do with the chairs and with the tables? If you have a chair who cannot flip, and if you have a table who cannot be moved easily to the other room, there is no flexibility. You just need to have an office. That's all. Or your girls, usually it's girls in the reception, like 70%, it will be hard for their backs to do it. And it should be done in the evening and then to be settled like it was in the morning. And why I say I was like not arguing, but struggling for it, trying to my team to understand it, because for me it was so easily understandable, because I'm the girl from the reception. I was a reception girl back when I was 17, and I grew up everywhere being next ladder, etc. And I know how hard it is when your boss or team hasn't thought something for you and they give you, okay, do the open space or do the event place out of office. And then with COVID, it evolved so much. And now I can, due to a lot of articles I read, say about it maybe more nicely and professionally. But for me, it was so easily and understandable that you need to be flexible, because in case you need to do something later, you need to think about it before. And another what I would say about flexibility is that I'm a mom of 3, and that things are changing, and sometimes I need to reschedule the meeting, to cancel the meeting, etc. And I need to be flexible to accept it, that actually I'm doing it and something is changing in my life, which is hard sometimes. And the world is great when it's also flexible. Even today, we were rescheduling meeting, I was feeling not okay, because we were rescheduling it from last week to this week, and then I was asking for 30 minutes more. But now I'm here with you, focused, refreshed. I met my friend. I'm really happy I did it, and now I really can be here. But I think in general, the world not always is welcoming any changes, even if they're for better.
I agree with you. I think most entrepreneurs keep their independence to protect that flexibility. You have experience working with startups. What is your opinion about the startup movement, and how do you define a startup?
Talking about startups, you said like you were working. I would say like I'm always working for a startup, because I have some startup mode inside myself. It's about entrepreneurship. It's about energy. It's about flexibility, looking what is happening on the market, and answering to it. And my, in general, career started with startups, because when I graduated from the university, I was having my second master in Greece. I came back to Ukraine. The first job all over, in general, my, as I said, career was in a startup incubator. So I was making events which helped to teach startups about some like startup literacy, like fundamentals, I would say. So I met a lot of people who want to launch a startup, and with time, 10 years after, there are a lot of them, like Preply and others, who are well known and who came out of that events, out of that story of the beginning. So my story of startups is the people who are trying to do something. They see the problem, they know and see the solution of it by the IT resources, by their like administrative resources, just knowing how to fill the gap. And for me, startups are about it. I'm about those who are trying to solve something. Either it's a little market in your city, in your country, or it's a big startup. It doesn't matter, but it's a solution for maybe even the big companies don't see these problems. They don't have it. And startups are little, they are closer to people. Sometimes and usually they have these problems themselves. They try to solve it for themselves or their families. And they do it. So I do like to launch new projects, to help to launch new projects, and to support them. I believe that the best startups are bootstrapped. It's when you use your own money to do it and you don't have any investors. And if you even have, you struggle not to have, but if you have that, then there is a smart money investor. There is an investor, it means that there's an investor from your field who has the connections. Yes, he or she has some money for shares of your company for sure, but they have connections. And that's why it's called smart money. They give you not only money, but they give you clients, connections, network opportunities, advices, etc., etc. And these startups, they grow.
In your opinion, are startups only IT companies?
Do we name a new kindergarten for Ukrainian for refugees, for example, somewhere in Portugal, a startup? Do we name it or not? And like, if we name IT startups, and such little projects as startups, then it's then we talk about much wider things. And when I speak about startups, I talk about everything because I just like, as I said, solution to problems. Back to Kiev, my children were going to the kindergarten, which was which started 6 years ago. Like the same year my son was born, and he started going there from 6 months. And I was helping to launch this community of moms and kids, of those moms who don't want to be alone at home, who want to communicate. And we were gathering there in this like a space. And when our kids were 4 and 5 years old, they were able to be there without us. It became a kindergarten, but initially it was a community space for moms. So for me, it's a startup, and it was a great solution for a big problem because there were a lot of entrepreneur style moms like me who wanted to be with their kids, who wanted to maybe talk with some other moms or just use Wi-Fi, and who needed a community space to be comfortable there. So for me, it's a startup as well, and it's a great solution for a problem of the community we had.
Vika, how did you start with coworking?
In general, when I was doing events for startups, I was like looking for different places to have events. And there was a time in my life when I was ready not to choose different co-workings, etc. I started going to one co-working, to one place, one anti-cafe every day, every time. I felt very cozy there, very comfortable. And then they were looking for the administrator, like not administrator, maybe manager of the space. And I met the owner on the terrace. She was drinking coffee and we were talking. And as I said, I was each day there doing a lot of like my stuff. And she said that we need maybe a manager. And I said that maybe I can because I was there every day, literally. And I was living not far. And they needed also a person who can open and close it. And I didn't have kids. I was working so much, like 12 hours a day. I can go there from 8 to 10. It was fully fine for me. 10 p.m. I mean. And also this place was doing a lot of events, like literally every evening. So I can do mine. I was like, for example, when I was 25, I was publishing a book of poems for myself and doing an event out of it, bringing people like a happy birthday party and giving them the book as a present. So I was doing my events. I had a lot of ambitious friends. I was doing my events, other events, photo events, like exhibitions of my friends. So I had a lot of ideas. And it was natural for me to say yes, to be the manager of this anti-cafe. And also in Mark Navarro's interview, I was saying that I created one floor of this anti-cafe as a co-working because I needed a stable finances of money, because anti-cafe works like whoever comes, whoever pays for time they spend. And the people on the second floor, it was 5 tables, 5 people each, gave me, like, each table was, when I sell them, I had like an understanding what sum of money will be next month, and I can pay rent for it. And for the others, it will be others. So I made co-working there. And then I got interested like in other places and other co-working spaces due to connections, networking, or events. And then it evolved, evolved to what we have now. But it would be a really long story.
Are your connections with other European networks come from your work with co-working?
To some extent, yes, but I believe if it was events, business incubator, accelerator, or other, it might be the same, but there is a slight difference. This difference is called choice. And it was a hard choice for me to listen to myself almost 3 years ago, when I understood that I work in one co-working space. It was before COVID in New Work Labs, and it's not enough for me. I want to create a platform where everybody speaks. And it was truly from my heart. It was not something I think, okay, I get a lot of connections, I will be known worldwide, or I have a lot of money. It was a problem I think I saw, which actually not all the market believed in this problem. But as a manager of the co-working, I wanted to have a platform of other co-working managers to talk to each other. And I was so truly deeply to my bones believing in it. And I think it's happening because of it. Because of like that 3-year-old girl was reading poems, and it was truly from her heart. And I take it through all my life when I read the poems or go to the stage. And when that 32-year-old Vika was thinking that there is a problem and hesitating, should she do it or not? Like, how the market will react. And the market was reacting differently, like, oh, she wants to do it because she wants to know how we are and she will be better. But we are competitors. So the reactions were like not good. But the Vika was listening to herself. And that's the only should be known about it. And it was a very hard thing to do, to find partners and to find wrong partners, to be alone, to find a team, to close the team, to find a new team, to find the supervisory board as we have now, which are supporting, like either silent or supporting or criticizing, but really by deeds and suggesting something. So if I was so truly believing in events, if I was so truly believing in business funds, incubator startups, I believe it would be the same. But I truly hope you understand what I'm speaking now about, that it's not about that it doesn't matter which sphere or whatever, but something else is really mattering. This big belief and ability to follow something inside you, even if it's not ready and if it's too early, even if there are a lot of struggles.
I think I understand. You are talking about learning to listen our inner voice and intuition as a way to make decisions and align with our deepest intentions. Relearning to trust our intuition is a must for all entrepreneurs. I think that's what makes experienced entrepreneurs wise and fulfilled. Now the question is, how do you trust your intuition to produce income, to make your business succeed?
Before I answer it, I remember that the co-working industry is the industry of people who totally are of the same values with me. And I think it's also why this me being digested by European co-working is really smoothly going through, because we have the same values, like whoever I meet, if they are connected with coworkings, is it an application for coworkings or something else, manager in a rural coworking space in a little city in Hungary, Spain, we match the values. I know it's happening. So I just wanted to add that that's also why this choice was, and why it's easier for me now, because it was my choice. That's why it's easier for me now. And it's not what's like how it's called, choice out of not inner choice, but outer choice, outer circumstances choice. And if you come back to your question of the money, my answer would be quite philosophical. If you, and I know how it happens with me, if you're doing the right thing and you are doing it in the right angle and with your speed and in the market which fits you, like there are a lot of things which should be fitting, but you just feel you do it correct, then the world starts answering you with suggestion, projects, grants, money options, etc., etc. But as I said, it would be very philosophical, because all the other rules don't play with me. They're not happening. And only if I follow what I want to follow, and if I do like fulfill my potential, do, like I said, this networking and gathering people together. And it's something that I now do for events. I truly believe of getting people together. And I think the money comes after it.
A bird told me that you are starting something connected with events. Is that something new? Tell me more about it.
It's very new, and I would say it's like it was a quick decision, but it's a lot of to do and a lot of to learn. It was a quick decision because I was doing a lot of events, maybe 500 more events back to Ukraine. I've done like hackathons, like fully managed just by myself, from a concept to sponsors and to organizing and execution. And being here, I was suggested to create and to learn how to do events for recruiting events for IT companies. And the girl who is doing it, she founded a company 1 year ago, and I know her from the university, so I know her quite a lot. And I knew what she's doing. But when she suggested, I said, I will try, because I needed something to change, to switch on. And I wasn't thinking about it that I'll try because I know a lot of people, or get a lot of money, or go to a lot of countries, which also is true. I get to know a lot of people from great companies. I can travel because of events and etc. But I did it because I felt it that way, that time, that I have an energy, I have an opportunity to do it, and I want to do it. Just like they say that you should feel your body and your body will answer. There are a lot of constraints at the beginning, like the time of our calls was not convenient for me as for the 3 kids, but my husband was helping me so much, and we did it. We went it through the hard time at the beginning of adaptation, but now I feel that I can connect people, not just like in Ukraine or in Kiev. I was connecting everybody, making also like startup events, IT events. Even when I was already with coworking, I was doing these events for coworkings. But now I have an opportunity to make it Europe-wide, like to connect people, to give this energy, this like shyness and ability and willingness to connect to a bigger quantity of people.
Are the events having a specific topic?
It's a recruiting event. It's not a topic. It's just a recruiting event where companies are joining and talents are joining, and talents are basically pitching themselves to the companies, to the recruiters and the talent acquisitions. And the format is very relaxed and easy. It's not like happy hour or purely networking. It's a recruiting event, but there is a possibility to meet a person, to have 2-3 minutes of talk, and which can further evolve in a hiring or not. But it's easier to meet, easy atmosphere. And as I said, we do it European-wide. And only now I understand how precious it is for me. Like, I will be moving to Porto soon, and I will be able to do a Porto event, and I will be meeting people there. And with some people, we might get good acquaintances, etc. That I do need new people, but I wasn't thinking of this way. Like, I do need people. I need to find a job. This job will fit me. It comes from other, vice versa, as it's called. It's something, it's happening, it's suggested, you feel you need it, and then you have all of the surprises and advantages out of it.
Your message is very inspiring to me. What I see is that when we struggle, it is hard to see the magic around us. We focus on the problems we need to solve, and then we forget to see all the reasons why to feel grateful. That's a good reminder for me, because when things are tough, I think it's better to see the forest from above, zoom out, and see reality from a very different perspective than the one we are usually using.
I would say that each person is a book, and what I totally would recommend is to try to listen to him or herself, to yourself, no matter how hard it is, and close the room, meditate, drink tea, go for a walk until you listen. If you think you're not doing it, and if you feel you would like to need it, and just go this path, because at the beginning there will be a lot of happening constraints and struggles. But you correctly said that the world is responding, and it's like a next level to see these responses and to adapt them, adjust them, because nothing happened my way. It happened some of the maybe 1% of the angle I was looking to, but all the others happened because of the responses and the interactions.
Vika, thank you very much for your time, for your wisdom, and for the stories you shared with us. I'm completely sure a lot of people will be inspired to follow you, to follow their intuition, and to become part of the world of co-working. Thank you.